A train loaded with commuters hit a truck in San Bruno. Again, a live look from up above thanks to Sky Fox. It happened at around 10:35 near San Felipe and Huntington Avenue, very close to the Tanforan shopping mall. The crash sparked a fire. We saw video that showed flames and thick black smoke shooting into the air. We know flames spread through at least one of the Caltrain train cars. Again, there were passengers on board. They were all evacuated. At this point, the best information we have says 13 people are said to be injured. One of them might have serious injuries. That person being treated at a burn center now. No word yet on why that vehicle was on the tracks, exactly what sort of communication may or may not have happened in advance. But again, we see from Sky Fox one vehicle very clearly right in front of where the train stopped. There does appear to be a second one, sort of a couple cars back on the side. But Mike, what a situation. Yeah,
what a situation. And we're going to bring in Dan Lieberman right now, spokesperson for Caltrain. Dan, thanks for being with us. I know you're very busy. Give us the lowdown again here. Is train 506, which direction the train was going, and kind of tell the story from there.
Well, 506 was heading southbound this morning and struck one of our contractors' trains near Scott Street in San Bruno. That resulted in a fire, which has been extinguished, thankfully. There have been some injuries reported. None of them appear to be life-threatening.
Was this track supposed to be hot? I mean, active with trains rolling when you have contractors working on it?
Typically, work does take place near the tracks, but it's obviously supposed to be clear of the tracks when a train came through. The incident is under investigation, and we will be figuring out what happened as that investigation unfolds.
And what can you tell us specifically about injuries? How many people were transported from the drivers in those trucks, as well as passengers and the driver of the train?
Reports are still coming in, so I'm not sure if I can give you an accurate count at this time, but we'll be checking in as the incident unfolds.
Can you confirm that flames did make their way inside one of the train cars? We're showing video here that does appear to show thick smoke rising from that Caltrain car.
It's certainly, this is one of the larger fires that I have seen in my time, but it is unclear to me how far that got in necessarily.
Okay, and as we were up above showing the pictures from Sky Fox, it looked like there were two vehicles with, some sort of crane or cherry picker apparatus, something. I'm not an expert. Can you describe what those vehicles are? And it does look like there were two of those vehicles either on or very close to the tracks at the time of impact.
My understanding is the vehicle struck was a crane, but I don't know the particular size and configuration of that, so that may account for what you're seeing.
You know, type of work they were actually conducting there?
They've been doing work for the electrification project.
For the electrification project. And also, when it comes to the amount of passengers who are on the train, Dan, I know it's early, but do you have a specific count?
I don't have that count. Those numbers are evolving, but we should have an updated count in the near future.
At this point, you can say there was some sort of miscommunication here, and that's what led to this collision.
Ultimately, that's going to need to be investigated, but I'm sure we'll be getting to the bottom of that soon.
Okay.
Do you know yet how soon Caltrain service might be restored there in San Bruno?
No, but certainly our crews are working to make sure that trains get moving as soon as possible once we can safely be moving on the corridors again.
Are you hopeful that it'll be for the evening commute?
Everyone's working very hard to make sure that happens.
And Dan, do you know, I mean, I'm familiar with other transit agencies, obviously around the Bay Area and BART having cameras. Are there cameras, attached to the trains as they're rolling up and down the tracks, or even at places where you have crossing guards coming down?
There are cameras on board. That's going to be part of the investigation.
Okay. And in regards to the actual conductor, the person driving this train, do you know if he or she was one of those seriously injured?
My understanding, the engineer was taken to the hospital, but those injuries do not appear to be life-threatening.
Okay. And certainly, I mean, I mentioned this in our breaking news coverage, Bay Area train tracks all over. It can take seemingly forever for a train to stop if and when it sees an obstruction on the track.
Yes, our trains take approximately a mile to come to a full stop when they're moving at speed. So yeah, it's ultimately that's why the track should have been clear at this time.
Okay, one more and then I'll let you go. Again, just to drive it home here, we had heard different numbers here. You mentioned the engineer was transported to the hospital, but any number of people injured, like a total count here?
It's I've heard some different estimates, but I think we should have that figured out, in a little while when we start getting those reports together.
Okay.
But just the engineer transported to the hospital, or any of the other passengers?
I can confirm that the engineer and the contractor on board the crane have been taken to the hospital.
So 2 people taken to the hospital, still working on compiling the numbers of the total amount of people who have been injured. Got it.
That is correct.
And do you expect to have a news conference anytime soon this afternoon?
I am heading to the site right now.
Okay. All right. We have our crews there. I'm sure they'll meet with you shortly.
All right.
All right, Dan Lieberman, Caltrain, I appreciate your time, Dan. And just so our viewers know, we do have a reporter again on scene coming there. Jesse Gary will be there soon, and we'll get a live report coming up in just about 10 or 15 minutes.